Welcome to the Theme Park Podcast. I'm your host today, Jimmy D, along with the irreplaceable Scott Harris.
Don't say that. Those are not true things. Those are not true statements.
Honestly, if you're not on the show, Scott, it's two old men just looking at each other, not even talking.
It's the Abe Simpson two old men scream at a cloud.
That's being kind. So today on the Theme Park Podcast, like I said, Dickerman is under the weather, so he won't be joining us. But we got plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss, and we are only a one-segment show, so no need to click away. Scott, the biggest thing that I noticed today, they're bringing back the magnets. Disney fans are going to get their magnets.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. This is the new Donald. It's Donald, right?
To me, I'm pretty sure it's the same magnet that they were giving out just as property was closing last year, a year ago at this time.
Well, you know what? If they got them laying around, might as well give them away eventually.
You know what? People don't care. They are super excited to go to Animal Kingdom. Not Epcot this time. You're going to go to Animal Kingdom and pick up your AP magnet.
Nice. I mean, I do like it when they come in the mail, though. It's always a good feeling.
That was pretty convenient. Which one came in the mail? It was
Chip and Dale, I think.
No.
Pluto.
I want to say Tinkerbell, but that doesn't seem right. Was there a Tink recently?
I don't remember.
I'll have to go look at the fridge.
The thing is, I keep getting confused because Universal also does magnets and buttons for annual pass holders, so all of my theme park magnets are just blending together. And then there's the fact that we have theme park podcast magnets, which just amplify. Which
is also the coolest of all the magnets. Whatever. We at least didn't get too big of a head, and our magnets are like, what did you say, like a quarter of the size of a Disney
They're
magnet?
proportionally sized for what we are.
Oh, if they were proportionally sized, they'd be 1 millimeter by 2 millimeters. No, I'm kidding. So, Scott, let's just get right into the news. What do you got for us?
The biggest news. Disney on Friday morning announced the world's most magical celebration as Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary begins October 1st, 2021, and will last 18 months.
Wow. So it starts October 21st.
October 1st.
October 1st.
1971 is when Walt Disney World first opened its gates.
Oh, man. We might actually be in a world where you can have more than 35% capacity in your parks.
Man, I hope so. They announced that they'll be throwing the world's most magical celebration in honor of the 50th anniversary, bringing it to all 4 theme parks and beyond. It includes a new word, iridescence. See what I did there?
Yeah, well, I see what they did there, yeah.
To describe what guests will see when they visit. Disney teams are creating all sorts of new decorations that will shimmer and sparkle all day and into the night. We'll have new projection shows, not only Cinderella Castle, the Tree of Life, Hollywood Tower Hotel, and Spaceship Earth. I talked about it last week that Spaceship Earth is getting all of these speakers installed around it, and now we know why. Everything's getting a projection show. We've seen projection shows on 3 of the 4 already, and they usually do special ones for Spaceship Earth when they've done Mike Wazowski and the Death Star. But now it's going to be getting its own show for about a year, over a year.
That's really cool, man. Do you think that there's any world where they might, and I don't know how many rides they could do this for, but for like Soarin', you could do classic Soarin', I feel like, very easily. Do you think they would do something where they could give you like a throwback Soarin'?
I would love for something like that. I mean, we've talked about this before. For a 3D ride, how hard is it to just put, obviously you'd have to probably update it for HD standards, because I'm sure when Soarin' originally opened, 4K wasn't a thing back then, obviously.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was originally shot in 65 millimeter film. And if that's the case, that lends itself to becoming HD very, very easily.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like you said, I don't know if when they did their revamp, did they just completely ditch regular photography? Did they have a 4K print or a 4K transfer of the original Soarin'? I don't know. These are all questions for Imagineers.
I would love to see it. I mean, a lot of these things are have been around since the beginning. I mean, Carousel Progress has been there towards kind of when the parks first opened. I would love to be able to get a little bit of a taste of that. And you can see that on the rides right now that are open, they're trying to hurry as quickly as they can to put the finishing touches on some revamps. I'm looking at you, It's a Small World, and Peter Pan's Flight.
I know. Small World feels like it's been under construction for like eons.
But it's only the outside. It's
I know.
It's none of the inside.
You know, Star Tours is another one that they could easily do a retro ride, like a tour to Endor, like they used to do with Captain. Well, I don't know, because then you wouldn't have Captain Rex. You'd have C-3PO sitting in the seat. So maybe they couldn't do that easily.
I mean, hey, Anthony Daniels, do you mind re-recording some new lines?
Yeah, I could see that. You know what they could do too? Retro uniforms.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you bring up uniforms because all of the characters are going to be getting new outfits for the celebration. They on Good Morning America on Friday, they showed Mickey and Minnie in their new bluish turquoise iridescence, as they're calling it, outfits, and they're getting their own new cavalcade float, which hopefully won't be a cavalcade by October. It'll actually just be part of a parade.
I got to see this uniform, this iridescent uniform, because when you say that to me, I think about the original space costumes that they wore when Epcot first opened, and they looked like they just jumped off the screen of Captain EO.
And then for the employees, there's special tags and stuff that they'll be wearing within the park as well.
I remember in 2000 when they did the big celebration, with the castle looking like a cake and the big wand over the spaceship Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They all had special 2000 name tags that said like the Millennial or something like that. Millennium.
I loved the wizard wand over Spaceship Earth.
I didn't mind it, and I also didn't mind the birthday cake, but people lost their minds.
Here's the thing. Because a lot of people don't like the rose gold and blue that they've done to Cinderella Castle,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, you could have just brought back the cake. The cake would have been awesome.
There's actually a Magic Band that they just released with the cake on it, just as a little tip of the hat to the last celebration.
Oh, I love that. But yeah, each the characters will be wearing these 50th anniversary pins on their uniforms, and I just look forward to. I mean, October 1st is already completely booked for reservations as of right now. Obviously.
Are we close enough that we can book that?
Oh, yeah. It's not like FastPass where you have to be within 60, 30, 90 days.
It's so weird because I feel like it used to be where you would plan out your Disney experiences like way in advance, and now I feel like I'm only planning my Disney visits like a week in advance.
Well, I think it's because a lot of us want to be able to, like, when you only have 3, you want to be able to save those 3.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, I don't want to book 1 and then only have 2.
Well, see, I always book 2, and I always leave like that
the
floater.
buffer?
Yeah, the buffer. But I've rarely ever booked that 3rd one because then I feel like claustrophobic, like I have no other options. I'm like boxed in, and not a fan.
Well, yeah, especially if it's like over the weekend we talked about last weekend how busy we thought the parks would be. I got a drop in on Magic Kingdom for Sunday. Just Sunday holiday weekend. Oh, let's go to Magic Kingdom. Boom, there it is. Let's go.
That's pretty cool. Let me ask you your opinion about something because I've seen this a lot on the blogs. There is very little availability today, Saturday, and tomorrow, today, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. There's very little availability, and nobody can figure out why the parks are so packed this weekend.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say it's weather related because we're into almost summer weather now in Florida where it's 80 degrees and raining every day. But I mean, the holiday at least made sense. I think just people are seeing more and more it seems safe to go to a park. So let's go. We still have, an annual pass because anyone that got their annual pass, in October, November, December, January of 2019, they're kind of coming to the end of when they'll be able to go as well.
Oh, I see. So
unless they want to renew.
So it could be like a last hurrah for the people that just got in last year.
Yeah. Or
Interesting.
By the way, the mouse has the little the magnet has the little bee on it.
Yeah, Spike.
Or maybe it's just they're seeing everyone looks like, oh, it doesn't look that busy, so let's all go. And then by them all going, they're increasing the attendance.
So people like us who are hyping up, like when I went to Animal Kingdom the same day you did last week, we went on Flight of Passage twice.
Yeah.
And I waited less time than the first time I went on it ever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's including both times going through the entire. Like, it took you 15 minutes just to walk through the queue. There was no waiting.
It was just that. Yeah, a friend of mine went the other day to Soarin'. It said 55 minutes. They walked right onto the ride.
Oh, that's the dream.
It's a dream, but it's like I wonder if it's like, hey, we're closing in 20 minutes. Let's just leave this up here.
I've always had the theory that at the end of the night they do not adjust the ride times, and that's not a trying to trick you. That's just like people need to go home. They have lives outside of being bringing you the magic.
But they've also Disney it seems like every week or two they replenish park reservations. So I think they look and see, we didn't sell as many tickets for the standalone drop-in days. Let's give some more slots to our annual pass holders, because they got replenished for February, March, and April.
Yeah, I did notice this weekend though, even for ticket holders, there was very little availability, and for annual pass holders, it was like sold out.
If not, just go to Disney Springs and use your annual pass discount for 30% off right now.
Yep. Well, you only have another week for that.
Correct.
March 2nd, it goes away.
Speaking of Disney, it's going to be a lot of Disney today. Disneyland in Hong Kong is now open after its third COVID-19 closure. It's back.
Wow. How long were the closures, does it say?
I believe it's just been, a few weeks. Oh, hang on. The first closure was January 26, 2020.
Okay.
And then it reopened in June. Then a second closure was the middle of July through September. And then the third closure was December 2nd. And then it just reopened on February 19th.
Okay, so they're going about an average of 90 days minimum.
Yeah,
closing.
I mean, it's like they're waiting, for cases to drop. And I guess they dropped enough for them to say, let's reopen. At Epcot, we've got new topiaries have been set up for the Flower and Garden Festival, which is beginning, 2 weeks after the art festival ends at Epcot.
I love Flower and Garden because for me, it always means new Orange Bird stuff.
Yes. Your Orange Bird has his own stand, right? Like food-wise.
Oh, yeah. It's the, was it Florida Citrus stand? And you can get the orange slushy. It's like a milkshake almost. It's not really...
Like an Orange Julius?
That's actually a great way to describe it. It is very close to an Orange Julius, which I don't even know if you can find those anymore. Because I think Baskin Robbins had bought Orange Julius, and then I think
it was Dairy Queen.
Was it Dairy
Queen?
I
always saw them next to each other.
Maybe it was Dairy Queen. Well, one of them, like I know in the mall, the
Yes,
Alamont Springs Mall, you could find it, and now you can't get it anymore.
So that's going to be going on. Disneyland, meanwhile, at California Adventure, they're going to be doing a food and beverage festival, which you've been to California Adventure. 6 food booths are open. Cars Land, Pacific Wharf, Pixar Pier, and Grizzly Peak will all... Basically, the park is open for food, but no rides.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it'll be a unique event featuring food and beverage offerings, merchandise, and unique entertainment experience. They've recalled a bunch of employees for this.
Well, that's great for the employees, and I'm really happy to hear that. And at least the people in Southern California get a little taste at Disney, with this, I don't know, quasi-opening. What's going on? Have they not hit herd immunity yet in California? I mean, they have had so many cases, like more cases in California than... like most of Europe put together.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the rumored date is around the middle of March, which ironically enough would be the 1-year anniversary of when everything closed down.
I wonder if they'll do special merch for that.
I don't know, because it never seemed like... Did they ever do special merch for Leap Day? Remember when they would do the Leap Day where they're open 24 hours? I remember seeing a bunch of Etsy shirts for that, but I don't remember if the parks themselves did.
There's an ebb and flow at the parks with that kind of stuff, because I know for a couple of years, I would make sure to go on May the 4th and May the 6th, because they had special May the 4th Be With You stuff and Revenge of the 6th stuff. So it was like, and I actually have the 2 Magic Bands that they did at Hollywood Studios that one year. So I could see them doing stuff like that, but I could also see they quit doing that as well. So I could see them not doing specialty, dated items.
I'm still trying to figure out why Star Wars weekends doesn't happen anymore.
The
How much
place-
time do we have?
Well, I mean, it's already probably the busiest park in. I would almost say the world at this point, especially under COVID. Hollywood Studios is probably the biggest, busiest per capita theme park in the world. I would say right now. Maybe when the newness, and I know it's been over a year.
It's been it'll be about a year and a half.
We're 18 months into this place being open, and it's still like banging at all times. I would think once the newness wears off and they need to like drum up some more business for Star Wars Land, that might be the way to go. But the way Harry Potter Land has been.
Which is weird because they do. I mean, I don't think they've done it in the last 2 years, but they've done They do a Harry Potter.
Yeah, the celebration of Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and that's like a week-long event.
it is. Yeah, and they bring cast members in there for panels and whatnots. And I never fully got to embrace Star Wars weekends, so I selfishly just want it for myself.
Star Wars weekends is probably some of the funnest Star Wars memories I've had. Just like camping out in front of Hollywood Studios so you can get a ticket to meet a celebrity and get their autograph, and then going in and checking out panels and riding Star Tours and like all the exclusive
Merchandise. Sounds about right.
Merchandise. And, they would always have Darth Small, a little play on words there. And it was over there in a big tent next to Rock and Roller Coaster. Rock and Roller Coaster. I get those two. The names are too close, Universal.
Rip,
Disney.
Rock, and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, Rip, Rock, and whatever. Anyways, it was just a really fun experience, fun time, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future, and I hope they do something. I hope they do something like that. I don't know if they're going to build a convention space at the Star Wars Hotel that they could maybe, use some of that space, because I know like Contemporary, they have convention space, and I've been to a pin trading event there one time. And it was free and open to the public. It was really cool. It'd be really fun to see what they do with that.
Especially now, because wasn't the last time that they did it, Disney didn't own Star Wars.
That's correct.
And now that they do, they could really blow it out.
That's absolutely correct. And they kind of stopped it because they were like, we have to close off so much of the park to build Batu and the Black Spire Outpost that we can't, there's no room for it. Well, now that that's open... and it doesn't necessarily have to be at Hollywood Studios. I feel like Star Wars weekends could happen at like the Contemporary, or it could happen at another place on property.
Yeah, there's enough hotels around there, especially by Skyliner, which goes from some hotels to Hollywood Studios, would make it a little bit easier to travel around. Popping across the street. I sent you and Dickerman this. They're now selling merchandise for annual pass holders for the Velocicoaster.
Oh, I know. And it said, what could go wrong? And I was
Yes.
like, no, you just jinxed yourself. You just jinxed this whole ride. That Osprey that's making a nest up there is going to be like endangered or something. You won't be able to open a ride, or just you're just asking for trouble to put that on a T-shirt.
That Osprey. They built a perch for him over at Dr. Phillips, and I think he's accepted that that's his home now. They're testing the ride too much now.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to get the dust to settle on that now. So but that's cool that they took they spent the money and the time to relocate this Osprey so that he has, and now he's got this cool penthouse that you're telling me about.
And it's just like, he's probably just like, fine.
Or she.
Yeah, they are just like, come on, I just want to ride this thing. Let me know when I can ride it.
Oh, and whoever's running the social media at Universal, God bless you, because all the Velocicoaster jokes are amazing.
Oh, you mean when it's like, we're not going to tell you when it opens. We're not going to tell you when the soft opening is.
Yeah. They're like, please stop asking. You're making us very sad.
Speaking of ride opening, I found this out from one of our correspondents on the show that they were filming commercials over in Ratatouille this week.
They were?
Yes.
Anybody we know?
No, I think it's just kind of like we've seen with the Universal commercials where it's just like families and stuff riding the ride and talking about what it's like. You got to think that ride's slowly going to be having at least a soft opening sooner rather than later.
Now, typically in the past, and I know this wasn't the case for Star Wars because of the demand so much, but when they open a new attraction, do they do the soft opening first and then they do like a cast member preview, or is it cast member preview then soft opening?
It's
I can't remember.
Usually, so when I did, because if we remember, I did get the ability to go to the annual pass preview for Star Wars.
Correct.
They had done, I think they've been doing about a month of Galaxy's Millennium Falcon testing. And then that was when, but it was very limited. It was only 2 tiers of annual passes that were allowed to go to that.
And that was only after they had let the cast
Correct.
run amok on the place.
But they didn't do that for Mickey Mooney's Runaway Railway.
Yeah, that whole thing got kind of like,
hey, it's open, let's go.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was partially a ride because weren't they going to do a pass holder thing and then they canceled it because they were having technical issues with
they were. Yes.
Okay.
And then they open it, and 2 weeks later, shut the whole park down.
I know. Oh my God. I hate 2020 so much.
Speaking though of construction, they're removing the support structures on the shell around the Tron roller coaster. So the brown parts that have been holding up the structure are getting removed.
Nice. I can't wait to see that finish because, because it's supposed to be from the grid, it's got to look so like crisp and clean and straight edges, and I can't wait to see what the final thing looks like.
Well, we've talked about it. If you want to get kind of a good idea of it, there's 3 rides to get on: Dumbo, Goofy's Barnstormer, and Autotopia, the cars at Tomorrowland. That'll get you the closest, really, or the exit of Space Mountain. But if you're going to go look at it, you might as well ride a ride while you're doing it.
And if they ever crack open People Mover, that's got an excellent view of it, too.
Oh, man. I was there. When I was there last week, I saw it running, and I just wanted to... There was just one of those sandwich board signs that's, it's temporarily closed. Go find another attraction. I saw it moving in the wild.
I've seen videos, and I also saw a still frame of when they played Bumper Cars.
Yeah, last week that played Bumper Cars, and also last week Popeye's Bluto's barges caught fire.
What?
Yeah, it caught fire. A water ride caught fire. The ride is closed right now for renovations or refurbishment, which
okay, so there's no water in the actual ride.
I mean, it was usually water rides this time of year is when they would close them for refurbishments.
Makes sense.
But fire broke out. Which, if you want to get a good vantage point of Velocicoaster, if you go behind Me Ship, the Olive, and Popeye, there's a really good vantage point of that. But it's all blocked off right now, so you can't...
Yeah, because the attraction's not open.
Yeah. But you go to the other side behind Mythos, and you can get the same thing on the other side. But behind Three Broomsticks, they closed it off, so you can't go where you could not touch the ride, but that's the closest you'll get to it. They have closed that area off, basically for bloggers.
God, the people that work in security hate bloggers.
Oh, I know this.
I've actually had a conversation with them before, and they're just like, "Not you, of course," but I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure it's not us."
Yeah, the universal we.
But speaking of the backside of Mythos, were you with us that time that you weren't there when we saw Brian Austin Green and Megan Fox there?
I was not there that time. I've never even been inside of these. I worked at Universal for 5 years. I've been going there since the park opened. I have never been in there.
Wow.
Granted, it's an expensive restaurant, so that might be playing a factor in it.
Honestly, I think the only time I've ever been in there was that time, and I didn't pay for my food. So.
Exactly, yeah.
And Brian Austin Green and Megan Fox are going to be how much better is it going to get than that? So.
Exactly, you can't top that.
The worst, though, is I kept running into the two of them throughout the park, and they must have thought I was stalking them. So I just kept walking away every time I saw their little cavalcade of people. I would just walk the other direction because I was I don't want to be that guy.
You need to get the Marvel Cinematic Universe disguise of a generic hat and sunglasses, and then no one would have recognized you.
Yeah,
I've been rewatching Captain America: Civil War, and that's how Cap gets away with being in public.
Yeah, I love how Ant-Man and the Wasp makes fun of that, and you're like, we just look like us going to a baseball game.
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's it on the theme park news for this week.
Are we out of time already?
We're out of time already.
All right. Well, check us out on our social channels. It's at The Theme Park Podcast. You can reach any of us from the show at thethemeparkpodcast.com. That's Jimmy, Scott, or Dickerman. Or on Twitter at The Theme Park Show. Go to thethemeparkpodcast.com and click on the YouTube link. We're just starting to build our YouTube likes. We're trying to build our following. So if you'll check us out, give us a follow. We appreciate it. For Scott and myself, we'll see you next time at the parks.